Good morning everyone, my name is Sweta Pasache and today I'll be doing group presentation along with my group members Nadira Shrestha, Neelam Khatri and Susmita Shrestha. In this group presentation we'll be talking about comparative advantage of India in call center outsourcing, comparative advantage of Saudi Arabia in oil production, and at last we'll be talking about certain ways of improving comparative advantage in those countries. In this presentation, let's talk about what is comparative advantage. Comparative advantage is the ability of an economy to produce certain goods and services at a lower opportunity cost compared to its trade partners. Comparative advantage allows a company or nation to sell its product and services at a lower price compared to its competitors to increase its sales of margin. The concept of comparative advantage allows a company or guides a company whether the company should produce the goods on their own or is it more economic to import the good. Talking about competitive advantage, in this competitive era we can see that lots of countries have competitive advantage on some of the product. For example, US has competitive advantage on chemical production. Saudi Arabia has comparative advantage on oil production. Similarly, India has comparative advantage on call center outsourcing. Today, India is the most intended country for various international business companies for outsourcing their business. It is because India has matured global resources, and it is also because of the widest range of option and English language operations. According to Tholen's 2015, India has top 6 cities out of top 10 outsourcing destinations. Also, according to a recent survey of Deloitte, 59% of the countries has already outsourced their business to India, and 22% are still planning to outsource their business in India. Till date, India is the most popular country for outsourcing out of the various outsourcing destinations. To further talk about the reasons for comparative advantage of India, I would like to call upon my group member Nadira Shrestha. Thank you.
Thank you, my friend Sweta. Hello, everybody. I'm Nadira Shrestha, and I'm here to discuss about some of the reasons for making outsourcing to call center as a comparative advantage of India. The most important reason is the cost effectiveness of the India. Because of the extremely high population in India, there is a competition among labor to find the job, so Indians accept lower pay as well, and it is believed that American firm can save almost 50% of its cost by outsourcing jobs to India. Second reason is large number of English speaking workers. One third of Indian population speaks English despite of other their own language, and well-educated Indian workforce has been one of the biggest strength of India in global labor market. And third reason is time zone advantage. As we know, there is a 12-hour time difference between Western country and India, which is beneficial for both of the countries. This time zone difference facilitates India to provide 24/7 facility to its customers. And the fourth reason is latest technology and industry. The call center in India use advanced technology and software to provide quality customer service. These new industries and softwares are advantage of India over other locations. And the last reason is specialized and variety of call center outsourcing services. India offer wide variety of inbound and outbound call center services. Some of them are telemarketing services, database selling services, order taking services, etc. And there are several ways to increase the comparative advantage of India. One of them is factor of production. One of the significant way to increase comparative advantage is maintaining the quality and quantity of factor of production. The second reason is exchange rate. The price of importing and exporting goods and services are affected by the exchange rate. Western countries must make international trade to India because they get more than other country when investing in India. And the last reason is trade barriers. Subsidies and taxes are the trade barriers. With the trade barriers, government can create an artificial comparative advantage. Imposing high taxes would discourage import, whereas subsidy can increase exports. And further, I would like to call my friend Neelam to discuss about the comparative advantage of Saudi Arabia. Thank you.
This is me Nilam Khatri and I would like to present discussion on the topic comparative advantage of Saudi Arabia. Middle East countries like Saudi Arabia, Kuwait has been dominating old oil markets since many years ago. Saudi Arabia is a major exporter of oil to the oil market. Saudi Arabia has a comparative advantage in producing oil as it is naturally abundant in oil with the least opportunity cost. Saudi has both resources and capital needed for the oil production and capacity to utilize it effectively. According to the International Monetary Fund, the export of oil products contributes above 40% of GDP of Saudi Arabia and makes up about 90% of Saudi Arabia export earnings. According to the Oil and Gas Journal, as of January 1, 2017, Saudi Arabia constitutes 16%, that is 266 billion barrels of the world crude oil reserve, and is the largest exporter of oil products. It has capacity to produce 12 million barrels per day. According to U.S. Energy Information Administration 2018, Saudi is on the second position in the production of oil and petroleum liquids worldwide, and it comprises of 12% of total oil production. In 2016, it produced 2.4 million barrels per day on average, consisting of 10.5 million barrels per day crude oil and 2 million barrels per day non-crude liquids. Likewise, according to the Global Trade Tracker, it exported about 7.1 billion crude oil in the year 2016. The sources of competitive advantage of Saudi Arabia are thriving business atmosphere, increasing population, antitrust legislation, access to natural resources, and strong banking sector. This will be further discussed by Susmita Shrestha. Thank you.
Thank you, Neelam. Hi, I'm Susmita Shrestha and my topic is sources of the comparative advantages of Saudi Arabia on oil production. As number one is its business atmosphere. As the government of Saudi Arabia almost spent $1.2 billion in past 25 years for building its infrastructure. Thus, the people don't have to pay taxes on their income. Raw material can be imported duty-free and there is protection for privately owned business. Thus, it has thrilling business atmosphere. And the number two sources of comparative advantages is population. The population of Saudi Arabia is increasing by about 3.2% each year. Increasing population can be considered as the biggest strength of industries. And antitrust legislation, low barrier to entry to business, development of common standard are some of the strong antitrust legislation of Saudi Arabia. And access to natural resources. Saudi Arabia is abundant in oil resources. It has about 263 billion barrel proven oil reserve and gas reserve. It has approximately 130 major oil and natural gas fields. And the last sector is business sector, banking sector. Banking sector of Saudi Arabia is economically strong as it is not affected by all financial crisis. And lastly, my suggestion for this Saudi Arabia to improve its comparative advantages is to make its people skilled enough, because it is lack of skilled and capable manpower, as Saudi Arabian are lack in English speaking skill, and a citizen must be provided some skills and training to enhance its economy. And lastly, to conclude our research paper, I would like to discuss comparative advantages of India on call center outsourcing and comparative advantages of Saudi Arabia on oil production. Thus, the main purpose of our research is to show how this chosen country have competitive advantages on oil production and call center outsourcing. Thank you.